Greetings, homebrewers. Welcome to my channel, and here's an update on my chest freezer build into a Keezer. And got a couple things to update on. I'm really still waiting on some parts, but I just got some good news today that my custom-made stainless steel drip tray is going to be shipped out today. Should be about another week before I see it, so I'm pretty excited about that. As you can see from the last update, I've blacked out the entire Keezer. It's actually chalkboard paper. I didn't paint it, but it cost about $30, and it came out really good. And my friends have already dubbed this the BMFK, which I'll let you guys use your imagination to figure out what that stands for, but I think it's appropriate considering how large this thing is. It's going up against this wall here. I got power, and when I eventually hook up my glass rinser, I do have access to the refrigerator water here, or I might think of another way to run that glass rinser so I don't have to deal with any more plumbing. So yeah, the chalkboard paper came out really good. It's not the best, but I think, you won't, once you have some artwork and some drawings on here, you won't really notice anything in there. But I'm thinking I'm going to put some nice trim pieces here. I got some 1/2 inch by 4 inch trim that I'm going to put on the side here, and then kind of complete this down here. My friend Janet had given me this bottle opener for, I think it was my birthday, I believe, and finally have a good appropriate place to use it. So that's kind of, hey, every Keezer needs to have a bottle opener. And the only part that I did not put the chalkboard paper on is the vent where all the compressor and wiring is, and on the back, because who cares about the back? Moving on to the back, I was cutting some wood before, and this is maybe the most overbuilt piece of the Keezer so far, and that is the shelf for the gas tanks. Just picked up my nitro tank, which is a beer mix of 75 nitrogen, 25% CO2. Got an appropriate nitrogen regulator for this. And here's my CO2 with the dual stage regulators. Now you got my 5-pound and a 20 cubic foot. You would think that, it's not 20 cubic foot sounds pretty large. It really isn't. But this is a specialized regulator. When this thing is on, this is up to 2000 psi. This is only around 800 psi. So this regulator system would not work on a nitro tank, even if you got the adapter for it. So do it right. Get yourself the proper nitrogen regulator. But basically here, it's the most overbuilt thing I've made for it so far. I got some just leftover 2x4, and the lumber was sitting around. It was free. Leftover collar wood here, and it does stick out more than what I wanted to, but it's really not going to be that big of a deal here since it's going to be up against the concrete wall. I'm going to get some rope here to kind of rope this off and make sure that these things don't go anywhere. And somewhere between here and here, I'm going to drill 3 holes for the gas lines for all 3, and then inside I'm going to do what I need to do to hook up the gas lines in there. But everything looks great. The controller has been working great. Power supply, I got to think of what else I can do with that since I have 360 watts to play with. But still thinking of some different ideas. And moving on to the inside, what I've been kind of really monitoring during this time while I'm waiting for parts is the efficiency of this Keezer. Since before I put the collar on, at my current electric rate, I was doing about $48 a year that my kilowatt meter was telling me. And I've been watching it since I put the collar on, and the collar really does, it adds to the cycle where it has to cool off a larger area. And I did put some insulation in here. As you can see, I used some 1/2 inch R3. I doubled it up on each side and kind of cut it in. And I did kind of start running out in the corner here, but I'm going to have to drill the holes for the gas lines anyway. I got, I have a couple milk crates full of beer bottles and sodas and whatnot. I have more kegs, but they're not full at the moment. Kind of freed up some room upstairs for right now. But again, it's a doubled up here. I have this here temporarily because I have to put the shanks in first, and then I'll cut out the holes here, and then I'll put this over it so I can have some insulation. The damper has been working great. I think I'm going to need more than one just because moisture-wise, I have been dealing with a little bit of moisture, but not terrible. But overall, this has been very good from an efficiency standpoint. but I think it's the best I can expect. Right now, my kilowatt meter, based on my electric rate, is now showing $110 a year to run this, which, to be honest, in my eyes, it's not that bad at all. And if we want to just check that real quick, it's been running since I've been keeping this open. It's higher a little bit, but it was at 110 before I started to mess around on the inside. So I should be back in about another week or two to update you guys on this build, but still very, very excited and happy with how it's turning out. And getting the rest of my equipment ready to go. I picked up some used pin lock kegs, but I just converted them over to ball lock. Had to get a lid with a manual release. You know, those kinds of things are very convenient when you're home brewing. But other than that, cheers, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And any questions, please leave a comment in the description below. Cheers.